Welcome to Old Coins World PK, my channel. Have you ever held a coin that marked the turning point of American history? This is the 1965 United States quarter dollar, struck without a mint mark, in fine condition. At first glance, it looks ordinary, but it carries a secret. This was the very first year America removed silver from its quarters. From pure silver to copper nickel, this coin symbolizes the end of an era. In today's market, a common 1965 quarter in fine condition is worth 25 cents to about $1.50. But rare errors, like those struck on leftover silver planchets, can reach thousands of dollars. Every scratch on this coin whispers history: the civil rights movement, the space race, the Vietnam era. A piece of metal, yes, but also a witness to America's greatest transitions. To this extraordinary journey into the fascinating world of American coinage. For the next 90 minutes, we are going to explore a coin that may appear ordinary at first glance, but which hides behind its silver-toned appearance an incredible story of transition, history, value, and collector's passion. This coin is none other than the United States quarter dollar of 1965, struck without a mint mark, presented in fine condition, and examined through the lens of today's numismatic market. The year 1965 was a defining moment in the history of American coinage. Up until that point, quarters were composed primarily of 90% silver and 10% copper. But the rising price of silver in the early 1960s created a crisis. People began hoarding silver coins, melting them down for bullion value, and suddenly the United States Treasury faced a shortage of circulating coins. The response was bold and immediate. Beginning in 1965, the United States Mint removed silver entirely from the quarter dollar. Instead, it introduced a new clad composition, a copper-nickel sandwich bonded to a pure copper core. This was the dawn of the modern era of clad coinage in America. This change is what makes the 1965 quarter so historically significant. It is the very first year of clad quarter production, the turning point when silver coins became a thing of the past and copper-nickel coins became the new standard. Collectors around the world recognized the 1965 quarter not just as a piece of everyday currency, but as the symbol of a dramatic transformation in American monetary history. Now, let us speak about design. The obverse of the 1965 quarter carries the familiar profile of George Washington, first President of the United States, sculpted by John Flanagan. Washington faces left, his strong features reminding us of leadership and resilience. Above his head reads the motto Liberty, while to the left we see the phrase In God We Trust. Beneath his neck is the year of issue, 1965. The reverse features the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, perched upon a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath. Above the eagle appears United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, while at the bottom is the denomination, quarter dollar. It is important to note that the 1965 quarter carries no mint mark. This was intentional. To ease the coin shortage crisis, the Mint suspended the use of mint marks on coins from 1965 through 1967, so that collectors could not hoard mint-marked issues. This was a policy of survival for the Mint, and it left us with a unique series of coins from those 3 years that are all anonymous in origin. Whether struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, the 1965 quarters all appear without mint marks. Now let us turn our attention to condition. The coin we are discussing today is graded in fine condition. In this grade, the details of Washington's hair are moderately worn, but the major outlines remain clear. The eagle on the reverse is flattened, yet still easily recognizable. Such a coin carries the marks of circulation, the evidence of a journey through pockets, purses, shops, and tills across decades of American life. Fine condition does not hold the dazzling brilliance of uncirculated examples, but it does carry an undeniable authenticity, a record of service in commerce, and a charm of genuine history. But what about value? This is the question that draws collectors, enthusiasts, and treasure seekers alike. What is a 1965 quarter dollar in fine condition, without mint mark, worth in today's market? The answer is fascinating, for it reminds us of the subtle balance between rarity, condition, and demand. In the most basic sense, a 1965 quarter in fine condition carries a face value of 25 cents. It is still legal tender in the United States, and it could still be spent at the corner store, though most people would never dare to do so. In the collector's market, its value rises slightly. A typical 1965 quarter in fine condition today is worth between 25 cents and $1.50, depending on the buyer and the level of wear. In most cases, such a coin is collected for its historical importance rather than its intrinsic rarity. However, the story does not end there. There exist error coins from 1965 that can transform an ordinary quarter into a numismatic treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. For example, some 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover 90% silver planchets intended for earlier issues. These silver 1965 quarters are extremely rare and highly sought after. If authenticated, they can command values exceeding $7,000 to $10,000 in auctions. There are also other varieties such as double die obverse and double die reverse errors, off-center strikes, and misaligned dies, which add layers of fascination and potential value. While a fine-condition regular strike may not attract a fortune, a fine-condition error coin can indeed be a small fortune in your hands. Now let us expand upon the global perspective. Collectors not only in the United States but also across Europe, Asia, and beyond appreciate the historical significance of the 1965 quarter. It symbolizes the end of silver coinage and the dawn of modern money. For international collectors, the year 1965 represents a break with tradition, a numismatic milestone, and a piece of American culture frozen in metal. Let us imagine for a moment the journey of such a coin. Minted in 1965, it may have passed through the hands of soldiers during the Vietnam War era. It may have been used in vending machines during the Apollo missions, as America reached toward the moon. It may have rattled in the pockets of civil rights activists marching for freedom. It may have been given as a tip in diners, as gasoline sold for pennies per gallon, and as music-filled jukeboxes across the country. Every scratch and wear mark on a fine-condition 1965 quarter tells us of life lived, of stories untold, of a nation in motion. Collectors who hold a 1965 quarter today hold not just a piece of metal, but a tangible witness to the history of the United States. Its monetary value may be modest in most cases, but its cultural and historical value is priceless. As we spend this hour and a half together, we reflect on why people collect coins at all. It is not always for the money. It is often for the passion, for the history, for the feeling of connection across generations. The 1965 quarter, even in fine condition, embodies all of this. It is a teaching tool, a conversation starter, a relic of transition, and a reminder of the delicate balance between resources, economics, and national identity. In conclusion, the 1965 United States quarter dollar, without mint mark in fine condition, is valued modestly in today's market, usually around $1 at most. When we speak of the 1965 United States quarter dollar, we are not just speaking of a coin. We are speaking of a global symbol of change, a metallic ambassador that traveled through pockets, markets, and hands across the world. This quarter is more than 25 cents. It is a witness to an era when America reshaped its currency and, with it, reshaped its history. The decision to remove silver from circulation in 1965 was not confined to the borders of the United States. It sent ripples through the international economy. Collectors in Europe, Asia, Africa, and beyond realized that something profound had happened. The American quarter, once a piece of silver, was now a coin of copper and nickel. It was the beginning of modern coinage as we know it today. For collectors in London, in Paris, in Dubai, in Singapore, the 1965 quarter is an icon. It speaks of the end of silver money, a universal turning point when nations had to balance tradition with economic survival. Every fine-condition quarter you see today carries this aura of transition. The worn edges, the softened features of Washington's profile, the faded wings of the eagle. These are not flaws, they are signatures of authenticity, the proof that this coin has traveled through history. And here is the extraordinary truth. While a typical 1965 quarter in fine condition may only bring $1 in today's market, the rare errors, the accidental silver strikes, the double dies, the misaligned coins, these are treasures that can reach the heights of $7,000, $10,000, even more at global auctions. Imagine finding one of these in your change. Imagine holding in your hand not just a coin, but a life-changing discovery. That is why collectors worldwide chase the 1965 quarter. Because it is not just American history, it is world history. It is not just 25 cents. It is a story, a mystery, a hidden opportunity waiting to be discovered. So whether you are in New York or Tokyo, in Karachi or London, remember this. The 1965 quarter is a coin of the people, a coin of the world, and its value is not only in dollars. It is in the heritage it carries, in the inspiration it gives, and in the possibility that one coin could turn an ordinary day into an extraordinary moment. Let us now dive deeper into the world of the 1965 United States quarter dollar. A coin that is not just a relic of American monetary policy, but a cultural artifact that speaks to the human story of value, survival, and change. Picture the mid-1960s. The world was moving at a breathtaking pace. The Cold War was at its height, the Vietnam conflict was intensifying, civil rights movements were reshaping societies, and humanity was preparing to step onto the moon. Against this dramatic backdrop, a small but powerful decision was made in the United States Mint. Silver had to go, and copper-nickel would take its place. The 1965 quarter became the first ambassador of this new era. No mint mark. No silver. Just a coin designed to function, to survive, and to circulate. And yet, its silent presence in the pockets of millions made it a witness to some of the greatest events in human history. Think of it. This very coin may have been exchanged for a newspaper announcing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches, or for a ticket at a movie theater showing the latest James Bond film, or for a soda in a diner as astronauts trained for Apollo 11. Collectors today are not just buying a coin. They are buying access to that history. They are holding a timeline condensed into metal. Every line, every worn detail of a fine-condition 1965 quarter carries the whispers of decades gone by. And this is what makes the coin internationally valuable, not always in terms of dollars, but in terms of cultural significance. Yet we must not forget the financial side. In today's numismatic markets, especially in international auctions held in London, Hong Kong, and New York, coins like the 1965 quarter, especially rare error examples, create excitement. Common fine-condition coins may range between 25 cents and $1.50, but the silver error strikes? They can climb into the thousands, drawing fierce bidding wars between collectors from every continent. This is the allure, the chance that what appears ordinary may in fact be extraordinary. And let us not ignore the psychology of collecting. Why does a collector in Canada or Germany or the Middle East seek a 1965 quarter? Because it represents the universal human desire to preserve moments of change. Money is not just money. It is memory. It is a bridge between the past and the present. It is a story frozen in metal, waiting to be rediscovered. The 1965 quarter, with its lack of mint mark, symbolizes equality. No mint city was highlighted, no origin marked. All coins were anonymous, produced simply to serve the people. That anonymity now adds to its mystique. In a world obsessed with rarity, this coin teaches us that even common things can carry uncommon stories. So the next time you hold a 1965 quarter, whether in America or far away across the globe, remember, you are not holding just 25 cents. You are holding a chapter of global history, a fragment of the human journey, and perhaps, just perhaps, the key to a hidden fortune if yours happens to be one of those legendary silver strikes.